I've asked you all the time.
Mike, nice to meet you.
Okay, we're gonna go. They're freaking out over there. Welcome back to the show. And you know, it's one of those things when you have people that have been on your show for years, that those are the ones that you never know when they're gonna come in because, you know, they kind of know what they're doing. You know, so they can come in whenever they want, right? And of course, we have a new guy on the board, and he's sweating bullets back there because he doesn't know what's going on. But I have it under control, and so does he. He's laughing at me right now. I have with me Michael Van Vleck. Michael has been on my show now for at least 5 or 6 years now. And I've been talking, tell him a little bit about yourself. I was telling everybody this story about how the gnat flew in your mouth one time when we were on the air.
True story.
Such a funny story. We're live on Facebook to hide everybody out there, like us and follow us. We're going to be sharing the show afterwards. He's even got gum in his mouth, so he's going to take that out real quickly.
I'm breaking all the rules today.
We're breaking all Carol's rules. So welcome to the show. First of all, let me say who you are. So you're Michael Van Vleck, and you're owner of Denali Real Estate.
That's right.
And so he's here, and you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you do, and when you come on the show, most of the time that you come on here, you are always wanting to educate people on property management because you know what? Nobody can do it like you.
Well, you know, we're fortunate. We try. Property management, as anybody who's in the business or has a rental knows, it's not perfect. There's a lot of things that can go wrong and often do. And I think for many of our clients, it's not just about having somebody that can take those calls or handle those situations for them. We really treat it like a partnership. We're working with our clients to find solutions to a whole array of things that happen. Currently now, and with everything that's going on, this presents a whole nother set of challenges for landlords, and we'll talk a little bit about that today. But it's for us, we value working with our clients to provide value, help them reach their goals and objectives. Our number one thing is always to put them first. And a lot of people say that. We actually do it. It's part of our process. It's inherent in our process. It's inherent in our agreement that we have with the owners.
I know what I also love about you is how you make it, not only do you make it easy for everybody, you are second to none when it comes to the way that you handle all of your clients. You give them the service that most people do not get. You are always there to answer the phones for people there.
That's
they
right.
will call, they will get there, and you will help them. Some people you just call you and ask you questions. You'll answer their questions. You are here to help them understand the process, understand what their needs are. You make your contract is the best that I've ever seen from what you've talked about here. Talk to them a little bit about that and you know what we want to talk about today. Because you didn't bring me anything.
I didn't, because I wanted to kind of...
Well, you wanted to freak me out. That's okay.
That's okay. But I think there's a few things here. One is, the way that we have it structured is different. I think the number one issue, if you're either a property owner or somebody out looking for a rental in the marketplace today, your number one issue is just simply getting someone to answer the phone, return a call, return an email.
Right. They still have got COVID.
And even COVID or not COVID, it doesn't even matter. That's just been an issue in the marketplace for a number of years. So our first and foremost thing for us that we do is answer the phone. It sounds so basic, but you'd be surprised at how many people don't really value that. For us, it's a priority. We're very hard pressed to find a business day where we have a voicemail. So in other words, we're trying to get to every single phone call. On occasion one slips through, but for the most part, we're getting to them. And I think that's step one, which is really important.
We're going to do, we're going to talk about property management 101. We're going to go down to the basics like we like to do. Okay?
Yeah, so, one of the things that's been really prevalent right now is, and we're not so much right now, it's not in the news, but COVID. It used to be in the news.
It was about 4 days ago, but it went away all of a sudden.
Yeah, right. So, that still remains a material issue, mostly from an economic standpoint. So anytime you as a landlord are renting a property, one of the biggest concerns that you have is, how am I going to collect rent? And if people are suddenly unemployed, don't have a job, or find themselves working part-time, some people have been furloughed, which means they're not getting unemployment benefits, but they're waiting to return to work. So those all can have an impact as the landlord, and most landlords don't know how to navigate that at this juncture? What should they do? How do they navigate that? What are their rights as a landlord? One of the things that happened is Governor Ducey came out with an executive order that essentially halted the execution of evictions for a period of 120 days. So what does that mean for landlords? It means if your tenant isn't paying rent, you may not be able to get them out. That executive order expires July 22nd, so you might be waiting until then. What do you do in the meantime? And I think that's something that's relevant to talk about today. Like, what do you do in the meantime?
What do you do in the meantime?
Pray a lot. No, but you do still have rights as a landlord. So here's what we've done, and it's worked incredibly well for us. I think the good litmus test for whether your strategy works is truly what are the results. I mean, this is a results-based world, just like most people in the space. And for us, we went through, January was expected. And by the way, many places, not just Arizona, but other states, have seen non-pays as high as 20 or 30%. Some governors have issued executive orders that essentially tell people not to pay rent, and they put a stay on being able to evict tenants for many months. And that makes it obviously very difficult for landlords. Arizona, we had a 120-day stay on that. But what we did is we reached out to all of our tenants and instead took a proactive approach. As opposed to saying it's, us against you and we're going to collect rent.
You better give me my money.
Yeah, it wasn't that. I think that's a mistake. Specifically because if you put yourself in a position to work together as a team to a common goal, then I think you'll find a different result. So what we did is we engaged our tenants, we reached out to them, we gave them a whole bunch of resources. So I did a whole bunch of research on where they can get different resources, and that's both state and at the federal level. So for example, the state has an eviction fund. So they put together a fund, it was before now, but it just happens to be a priority now, where folks that are facing eviction can go to the state and fill out an application and potentially get rental assistance. There's other resources here locally that are providing people rental assistance, so we gave them resources for that. At the federal level, there's also resources. Most people received $1,200 or could receive $1,200 from the federal government. We gave them information on how to do that. We gave them information on how to file their state unemployment insurance, links to do that, where to go to get it done, the amounts that they should expect, both from the state level and the federal level. Because the federal government kicked in an extra $600 a week for employment.
This is what I love about Michael, is that why you want to have somebody like him taking care of your property, because you will make sure that their rents are being paid the best to your ability. You are reaching out to them, giving them resources. How many people do that?
Well, so one of the big things was, you say that, some places are seeing 20, 30% or more non-payment of rents. For us, for the month of April, 100% of our tenants paid.
That's the difference.
It's insane. It's not a number I would expect. You would expect, even if we got that to 5%, I'd be wholly happy. But to get it down to there, and we're looking like, for May, it was about that, very close to 100%. So being able to do that, very big deal for us.
I'll tell you, you'll be wholly happy when you contact Michael. He is the owner of Denali Real Estate. You can give him a call. His number is 480-626-4062. I'm losing it already. But you will be wholly happy because you know what? You make sure that you take care of your clients. And that's what we want to make sure that everybody on both ends, because
sure.
you have clients on both ends. Again, that number to call is 480-626-4062. It's Denali Arizona.com. We're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk further about some of the things that are going on right now that might be affecting you. Give him a call. He's great at what he does. It's 480-626-4062. So we're going to stay live right now on Facebook. Okay?
Sure.
I turned it on. I don't even know.
We gotta go, but you know what? Let's wholly happy.
You sound good.
I know. When she said that, I'm like, oh man, I'm going to lose it.
Thank
It's
you.
good to meet you. Yeah.
Well,
That sounds
Fine.
great.
Thank you. So we're kind of sticking out here, kind of going.
But I
don't know
really
what else.
like how you said that, hey, you're gonna work with both clients, you know, like the renter and the landlord.
Yeah, yeah.
And-
Well, this is a legal difference. A client is the person who owns it, and this is a legal distinction. The customer is the tenant, right?
Ah.
It's totally different. It's a legal distinction. One carries fiduciary responsibility, one doesn't.
See, that's a good
He's good.
hook.
But it is, it's customer. So you go to the owner of the property and say, man, this is our customer. We're either gonna treat them right, or you're gonna be stuck not paying rent, or not
You're
getting
gonna be
money.
our client.
Yeah, they'll just not pay rent.
Thank you so much. It was really nice to
Everyone
meet
see you again.
you. Thank you. I hope so. I hope to see you again
Take care,
soon.
guys.
See you
Be
later,
safe.
Joe.
Yeah, thank
Talk.
you.
So,
Have a great day.
You too. Haven't never met him before.
huh?
Once you repeated that, I'm like, oh my god, I did say that, didn't I?
I love it.
Oh, shit, that was...
Come on in. What's that?
Oh, dude, that was awesome.
Well, listen, you know, this is what we've done ever since that you and I started working together. Just come up with something
I
that
love
was
it.
just
That was great.
hysterical
That
at
was
some
great.
point.
That was great. I loved it.
Did you go away?
We did in February. We just never
Because I
posted
saw some
pics.
kind of thing on the other day, and I'm thinking, he's gone again. I'm gonna kill him.
No, so when we came back, the whole COVID thing was going on, so it was like, man, we're not posting pics of us
Okay.
being in Europe, because people be like,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Breaking
But
out.
sorry about that. I did see also you had some party or something like that, a dinner party with all the girls, and it was
Oh, yeah,
just-
yeah, yeah.
That was cute.
yeah, we just
Yeah.
dressed up.
Oh,
did
I thought
something
that was so
different.
cool. I think you're so cool.
Thank
You know, honestly,
Yeah, it was
you know,
fun. We
most
had
guys
fun.
don't do that. Well, I know my I shouldn't say this, we're live on, so I won't say it now.
We forgot about that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so you look good. You're doing good.
Thank you. Yeah, everything's great.
Good, good, good. I'm getting stuff too here. That's you.
Oh,
I don't know who it is.
No, I think it's fine.
Oh no, it's over here.
It just doesn't stop sometimes.
So, anyway, it's God, I haven't seen you in the longest time. We were trying to figure out when it was the
Oh,
last time you were
goodness.
here, but
You know, the COVID thing really has taken up a lot of time.
yeah, it did.
You know,
And plus now, I mean,
reaching out to folks, and it's
I've been
it's a lot of
having,
time.
normally I'm fine in terms of this here. I've been just like this, just not letting anything get to me, just focusing on what I'm doing, and
Yeah.
that's been fine.
Sometimes that helps because then it's not so overwhelmingly negative.
Well, you can't, you know, but now with the news on with, you know, with the riots and stuff like that, that has taken me to, you know, it's a different level because it's just
It is a
so
different
widespread and it's by human hands, and that part of it I don't like at all, so it kills me. But, you know, I lived in the riots in LA, so, you know, I was there when it was happening, so I've been,
Rodney
that
King
was,
riots?
yeah, I was right there in downtown with the,
Yeah, that was a big one.
I had to go, but it was different because it wasn't so widespread. It was just even there in LA.
Yeah.
I worked in LA, so yes, it was right there for me, and we had to get that feet do your duty kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like this. This is worse. This is much worse. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah, it was fun.
So welcome back, everyone. We are still live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. We are going to be sharing the show in just a little bit. Oh my gosh, you know, when Michael Van Vleck is here, not only do I love having him on because we have such a great connection.
Agreed.
And I do have a connection with a lot of my clients, but there's certain ones that you just, you know, click so much. And so we were talking at the break about some of the different things of the executive orders that you were talking about earlier.
Sure.
What else is going on that is affecting your business and but not affecting yours? Let's put it that
Well,
way.
you know, one of the things from a real estate perspective, here's a question that I get often, which is, you know, Mike, with COVID, what is happening to the rental market in Phoenix, in the greater Phoenix area? What are you seeing on your end? And while I tell folks, I can't explain the rental market as a whole because with the number of properties we manage, we're a small part of the big picture, but I can only explain what's happening for us. And that is that we are renting homes at least as fast as we were last year at this time. We haven't seen any slowdown on our end. And people say, well, what's the expectation? If we are moving into a recession, what's going to happen to the rental market? Well, here's the reality. In a recessionary period, the rental market does better. And the reason is fewer people buy homes.
Right.
Fewer
Makes
people are
sense.
willing to take the 30-year plunge,
Mhm.
right? So they're like, well, geez, let's either stay renting, or maybe we're concerned about housing prices going down, so we're going to sell our house and go into the rental market. So the rental market does better in recessionary periods. Now, the rental market more recently in the last 5 years here has done really well, but the economy has also done really well. So people are like, explain that, Einstein. Why is that? Well, the difference is
Yeah, Einstein.
that more people are still moving here. It's a net destination state, right? So people are moving here. That is the supply and demand issue. So now with the recession, that we're expecting that to continue, but maybe even accelerate.
I'm going to say something else too, and there's a lot of people, even though, yes, owning your home is a wonderful thing, there's no doubt about certain of that, but also there's a lot of things about renting a home that's also wonderful.
Amen.
I'm going to say this, I am 62 years old, and I can have a choice whatsoever.
And beautiful.
Well, thank you. But you know what? Really, more than anything, I am tired of. I wouldn't want to have those There's certain responsibilities that come with owning a home too. I'm not saying that isn't the American dream, and there's a lot of things that's right for people. I mean, I guess maybe for the young,
Okay, so that's happening a lot. So two things. One, where younger people are less willing to be home buyers, right? Because they want the flexibility. It's not like it was 30 years ago when you went and worked at a job and you had this job stability. You'd likely be there for 30 years. People are changing jobs more frequently and also changing cities. So people are more likely to be willing to get up and move to a different location. There's also a mass exodus from the north and the northeast to the south, where the weather's nicer,
it's
warmer.
hotter, so we don't have COVID.
Right. So there's lots of those reasons. Younger people aren't wanting, and then older folks, same thing. They're like, I can rent, not deal with the maintenance side of things, right? And do that. We can sell our house, get the equity out of it, do other things, and then not have to deal with that later on.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about your contracts, because I know that this is something on both ends, and earlier you were explaining kind of the difference between your two clients, but your contracts that you have, that you work with people, you really, really just go to the furthest end, again, on both ends for them.
Well, so in terms of our management agreement, there's a few things in there that we do very differently. Number one, our agreement can be canceled anytime without a penalty. I feel that your manager should be working for you every day, not hiding behind some agreement or forcing you to pay them fees if something changes in your life or they're not doing a good job. I think that's really important, to have your manager willing to work for you. I also think it's incredibly important to, no matter who you hire, to have them aligned with you. In other words, when you as the owner have a positive outcome, that's when the management company should receive income. When you as the owner have a negative outcome, the management company shouldn't receive any income. And what I see, though, in the marketplace is management companies have found a way to get money no matter what happens to you. And I just don't think that in that situation it's right for the owner, right? So I think having a process that's driven by the property owner and having them drive the process, but having like a property manager like us do all of the work. So the owner still gets to be involved and make decisions. So this is one of the most egregious things I see in these agreements, which it'll say property managers are the sole controller over who goes to the property. So if you as the owner want to go visit your property, do an inspection, or potentially call your tenant and see how they're doing, these agreements will say that you can't do that without the property management company's approval. Now, as a property owner, you should be able to do those things. There's nothing that should stop you from doing that. So these are the kinds of things that are in these agreements that a lot of people don't know to ask. So one of the things that I tell anybody, first thing people call me and they say, hey, I have a property. I say, have you rented it before? And when they say no, we back up and we do Property Management 101. We say, here's the things that you absolutely need to focus on. Here's the questions you need to be asking as you call and talk to other property managers. And I encourage you to talk to other managers, right? So I want to give them a roadmap so that they can ask the relevant questions, know where to find the bodies are buried, so to speak, and the hidden items, so that they will go forward and be successful. And I think that's critically important at the beginning of that process.
Now, your phone number to call you is 480-626-4062, DenaliArizona.com. Go ahead.
Okay, so one thing I would say, if you are a landlord and your tenant isn't paying, then absolutely feel free to call us. And I'm happy to understand your situation and potentially give you some options. We did have an owner that came to us that their tenant hadn't paid in the last 2 months, and they are now on a payment plan and have already started making those payments to get caught up. So there are ways that you can do it. Most owners fail because they don't know the process. They don't know what their rights are and how to go about it legally.
Because they're doing it themselves.
Yeah, and I get that. It's really hard to be an expert in what you do for your career and then also be a landlord and try to be an expert in that. So I'm a big fan of outsourcing your life. Those things that are, important, but you can't be an expert at everything, try to outsource it. I mean, I think this is one of those things that you would greatly benefit from outsourcing.
480-626-4062, DenaliArizona.com.
So one of the things that you can do if your tenant isn't paying rent is, even though the governor's executive order has stalled the enforcement of the eviction, the enforcement part is when the constable comes out and they physically remove somebody that hasn't left. It doesn't mean that you can't go through the judicial process of having an eviction. So you can still go to court, have a hearing, and plead your case that the tenant hasn't paid rent, and the judge will render their decision based on whatever the evidence is that's presented. But you can still get judgments against people that have not paid rent. So the governor's executive order does not stop the necessity of the people to pay rent. So you still are obligated to pay rent. You still have to pay rent. The timing of that, you might be delayed a little, but you still have to pay it.
Right, and there are a lot of people that take advantage of certain situations like this too. They might have been people that weren't paying their rent already.
Correct.
And now they're saying, well, it's because of this, and it's already not. You might be extended, but you can get yourself. I think the best thing for people to do that are listening, and I think that what makes Mike different is he wants you to talk to him, but he wants you to talk to everybody. So
Yeah, I think there's a value in that.
Absolutely.
Even if we're the best thing ever, I think, it's sort of like having a good wife. If you have a relationships before that, you know what's bad, and when you meet the best one ever, then you know it. And so I think that's a good way to go about it, is to call and talk around to different people and get different opinions.
It's like dating.
It
just
is.
make sure that you've got the right person.
And you want to have a good partner, and one of the things.
And that's what this is. It's a partnership.
It really is, and so a lot of times, the best partners you can have are ones that you can get good references, or you can go online and find stuff about them. And so, having said that, you can find us in lots of different places. You can find us on Angie's List. We're the #1 rated property management company in Phoenix on Angie's List. You can go to Thumbtack, which is also a ratings agency. We're the #1 property management company by far. Expertise.com just named us the top property management company in Phoenix. You can go to their website, search Phoenix Property Managers on Expertise.com. You'll see we're listed #1. Propertymanagement.com, same thing. So, these are external places that you can validate these kinds of things, not just for us, but other property managers as well. I had somebody that called yesterday and said, we're on the Better Business Bureau website, and you guys have amazing reviews on there. So there's another place you can go.
Check them out. And they have been doing this for a very long time. They're here to help you. You're a partnership with them, and you're going to be wholly happy when you do. That phone number to call them is 480-626-4062. It's DenaliArizona.com.